Hi everyone, how you doing? How are you on this fabulous morning? Isn't it lovely and warm? It's beautiful outside. So nice that somebody I think might be doing some gardening, so I'm going to apologise now for any kind of hedge cutting type noise that might come across. I have shut the window, but it might still be a little bit noisy, so I'm going to apologise now for that one. How are you? What have you guys been up to? Let me just get you up on my screen. Vaguely, hopefully it will come up. Oh, it stopped playing. There we go. Oh, there we go. It's off again outside in the garden. So I apologise for any noise that you can hear. Yeah, how are you? What have you been doing? I've just got my laptop back, or Ed's laptop, should I say, that he's very kindly lent me for during this lockdown. We had a bit of a malfunction yesterday, which wasn't great. So luckily I can actually see your comments today, which would be lovely. What else have I been doing today? Oh, I had a great chat this morning about social enterprises and businesses that want to have a social impact. So like Arty Farty Retreat, coming from the point of view of creativity being a benefit for mental health, and all kinds of things like that was really, really interesting. So I feel a little bit more energized today, and a little bit more inspired. Who have we got? Lynn. Hello, Lynn. How you doing? And Sue. Hello. How you doing? It is a gorgeous day. It's beautiful outside. Right, let's get you guys in here so that I can talk to you hands free. So today we are going to be doing a goldfish using our oil pastels. So we're going to be doing a really nice, beautiful goldfish. But hopefully you've got some masking tape. Doesn't matter if you don't, but hopefully if you have, we're just going to basically tape it to the table, and hopefully it will give us a little bit of an outline to it there. Who else have we got? Hi, Cheryl. You've been Romeo and Julieting. The joys of homeschool. I love that. I love Romeo and Juliet. It's one of my faves. You should give me a shout. I'd be very happy to help you out with that part of homeschooling. I can do those bits. Who have we got? And Fiona, Jocelyn, and Tabitha's back. Yay! She's joined us again. Excellent stuff. Lovely to have you all with us. That was fabulous. My dad's joined as well. Hi, Dad. Fab stuff. So hopefully you guys have got a roll of masking tape, and all I'm going to do, I'm working on a slightly smaller piece of paper today. That's literally because I needed the other half earlier on for something else, so that you can work on whatever size paper you have. I've only got half today. Oh, Cheryl, are you struggling with the Romeo and Julieting? Oh dear. Dom's not a fan. I tell you what, there are some great versions on, I think they're on BBC iPlayer. So if anyone's watched them, BBC Culture, there's some fabulous Shakespeare versions of Shakespeare plays on there. And I think it's BBC Culture on iPlayer. So there's some great ones on there, and really different versions as well. So tell them to watch it on there. You'll love it. There's also, if anyone has a chance, there is a life drawing program that they did live, but obviously it's not live, it's on iPlayer. We've got some fabulous. I actually had a go of it the other day. It's a little bit different drawing a model from the screen than it is drawing from them right in front of you. But it was really well done, actually. I have to say, it was really good. I can't wait to get back to doing some proper life drawing sessions. I think that'll be good fun. We are officially going to open on the 1st of August. That's the other thing I have to tell you guys, which I'm very excited about. It gives me enough time to kind of really advertise everything that we're going to have coming up in August, and really, really think about how I'm going to do it, kind of socially distancing, and what things I'm going to have to put in place. So very excited. Very, very excited. Right. I'm going to drop you guys down so you can see what I'm doing, and we're going to go for a goldfish. Now the goldfish that we're doing is kind of going to be shaped so that the tail comes round a bit, just so you kind of get what vague shape I'm going for. A bit like yesterday with the cherries, I am going to roughly outline in I was going to use yellow, but actually I'm going to use an orange so that you guys can see it. But if you're outlining, you want to use a lighter colour, so try and use like a yellow. Yeah, a really pale light yellow would be ideal for that, but I'm going to use a darker colour. So let's drop you guys down. You can see what I am doing. There we go. Yeah, I will use an orange so you guys can see. So we're going to do the main kind of body of the fish. It's that little goldfish. He's going to come right up to the top, and I'm just very roughly putting in this shape. So he comes right the way round, because we're going to have him curving round. And he goes quite thin at the bottom. And he comes up quite thick there. And then the bottom of his tail is going to come round there. Now I know this looks like, I don't know what it looks like actually, some kind of tadpole at the moment. But it will look like a fish once we're finished, I promise. So hopefully you guys can see that a little bit clearer now with that orange. But as I say, if you're outlining it, please do it with something lighter. Do it with a nice kind of light yellow. And actually I'm going to take that orange back. And what we're going to do is outline some of the features at the top, because I think that's what's really going to give it the kind of the definition that we need on it. So I'm going to just outline a slightly bigger circle than the eye is actually going to be. I'm going to do it up the top here, because our eye is going to be in the middle with a black oil pastel, but we want to leave then a white circle around the black, and then the orange is going to come into it. Okay, so hopefully you guys have got that. But we're going to leave that till last to do. Okay, and then we need a little bit of a gill coming under here, and then our mouth coming in here. I always think fish look quite miserable, don't they? They always look like they've got a kind of upside down mouth. Hi Joe, no worries, don't worry about being late, not a problem. We're just outlining at the moment. So Joe, or for anybody else who's just joined us, I've outlined in a nice orange just so that you can really see what's going on here. But if you outline, please use like a very light yellow, just so you can get to grips with where everything's going. Where was I? I was up here, wasn't I? So here's the gills, and then we're going to put another gill in here, and then just a slightly smaller one at the back there. There we go, it's not too bad, is it? Now we're going to darken quite a lot of this. I'm just doing it so that you can really place where those bits are going. Would it help? Let me hold it this way. There we go. And hopefully you guys can see a little bit. He still looks a little bit tadpole-like, because we haven't put the rest of his fins in yet. But hopefully you can just see the placement of the gills and of the eye there. As I say, we will come and darken those with some different colours, but just so that you guys can see the placement of it there. Okay, let's lift you up again. There we go. So I'm going to start putting in some of the fins so that he looks less tadpole-like. So again, I'm going to use my orange. If you want to stick with your very light yellow, that's absolutely fine, just so that you can really get a feel for it. So the first one, we've got his little tail here, but we need another fin coming out here. So I'm going to curve it round to here, and the same here. So that's kind of going to be one fin there. And then I'm going to have another one coming out the back here. And these are quite floaty thin, so although they look like quite strong shapes at the moment, I'm doing them as quite strong shapes so that you can see where I'm going with it and where things are going to be placed. But when we come to add all the different colours and things on, you'll see that actually they're much more floaty. And then we need one just at the bottom of the gills here, a nice long one coming out here. So that's going to come out there. And then we want one that can just be seen the other side of there. go. We can go to the edge with that one. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see all 4 of the fins that I've added in. So you've got this one that curves nicely around here, this one that kind of floats out here, a big long curved one here, and then this one that you can just see the other side of him. Okay, hopefully you guys are okay with that. So I'm going to switch to my yellow now. I know you guys will probably have a yellow already. I'm going to use a slightly, if you're lucky enough to have a big massive set like mine, if you've been using the lighter yellow to outline, then you want a slightly darker yellow for this bit. So we're going to really highlight the lighter bits of our fish. So we're going to go a little bit of yellow along the top here, where and I'm just going slightly over my orange there that I've outlined with. So a little bit of yellow there, a little bit, and you can bring that just around the eye circle that you've got there on the outside of it. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow just on the inside of this gill, and then a little bit of yellow on his underneath there. So a little bit there, and then a little bit more on the kind of on his underneath, almost on where his belly I suppose would be. There we go, so a nice big chunk there. And then with the fins, so with this one I'm going to just do some nice flicks. So I'm not going to worry about colouring it in, but just some really nice flicks, and they can come just out slightly at the bottom there. And I'm going to do the same on this one as well. So I'm just going to not worry too much about getting in too close here, but more for the ends. So I'm just going to flick a couple of nice lines there. And again for this one I might just flick a couple, and certainly along the top edge there. There we go. And then maybe just a little bit in this one. We're going to make this one a little bit darker. Okay, so there's our yellow. So I'm going to come back with my orange to add in some of the darker bits again. So I'm going to start with our tails here. So I'm just going to add a couple of lines, not too many on these ones, but just a couple of orange lines on the inside. Obviously you've got, for me, I've got the outer lines that are orange as well. Maybe on this one, no, I'm going to leave that yellow. A little bit of orange in there, just above that yellow. And then I'm just going to bring a little bit more orange into that very bottom one as well. And then just around his kind of body, I've got quite a nice orange around his mouth already. Now if you've outlined with the light yellow, then you might just want to go over his mouth just with a little bit of the orange. That looks really nice. I'm going to just add a little bit of orange to where our yellow is on the inside of that gill. And just a little bit on the inside of the other gills there. And then a little bit of orange on his underneath, on his belly again, but just to blend in slightly with that yellow there. Do I need any elsewhere? Maybe a little bit around this eye again, actually. So just again, just blending in with that yellow that I've already put there. Okay, so I'm going to pop that down, and then I'm going to go for my very bright orange. And I'm just going to use this very sparingly because I kind of want to go more of a reddy orange rather than a bright orange. So the bright orange I'm just using in with the gills. So it's more around his eye really. Just to add to the mouth a little bit as well. And I'm just going to put in just a little bit on the top of his head there. And then this lower tail, I'm just going to add in some of that brighter orange. Probably bring that a bit lower actually. And then tiny bit on the underneath there. So you can see that we start building up those layers. So from where we've got the lighter yellow, you start building up the kind of dark, slightly darker orange, and then the really bright orange. And then we're going to go in with our red. So I'm going to go with this, which is a vermilion red, which we used yesterday on our cherries. So this is the really nice bright red, or I suppose it would be a postbox red. I suppose it's a postbox red, isn't it? So we're going to go in with that. And we're going to go around the eye, or what's left of around the eye. We're going to bring some into that cheek bit as well, where the gill is, and into the other gills as well. You're then going to go on top of where this fin comes in. I'm going to put some darker red there, and darker red underneath. And then I'm going to use a little bit on our lowest fin here coming out. Maybe a tad on this one as well, this long one. And just a couple of streaks in the fin that's kind of nearest to you here. These ones I'm going to leave fairly yellow, so I'm not worried about those at the moment. Okay. Okay, hopefully we're happy, hopefully we're good. Now what I'm going to do now is just use a bit of our kitchen paper or kitchen towel or tissue, whatever it is that you've got. And I'm just going to blend very, very gently. So I don't want to completely blend this, but just very, very gently bring in those colours. Just kind of want to smudge it a little bit. Now where I don't want to smudge is here, because I want his underneath to stay quite white. So I'm going to try and keep away from that bit a little bit. And just blend in those bits that I can, especially those gills as well. Around the eye. Okay. And then those fins, go for it on the fins, because they're meant to be quite ethereal and quite floaty. Just make sure you're smudging in the same direction as them. So in the same direction that you've drawn them. And I'm going to change to a clean bit of kitchen towel just to do these lighter ones. Again, these are very, very kind of floaty and ethereal, so you can really flick the ends. There we go. Be a little bit more on there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in our black next. So let me hold that up close so you guys can see that a little bit better. Hopefully you can see that. So when we add in the black, we're not just going to add in the black for the eye, but we're actually going to build it into the rest of it as well. As almost a little bit of an outline. So we're kind of going to highlight some bits with using the black. Now when we come to do the eye, yes, it does need to be a black circle, but we are going to leave a little bit of a white circle in it, within it, which is easier said than done with oil pastels sometimes. And if we really need to emphasize it, hopefully you guys can see that. So it looks like you've got a little bit of a reflection in the eye there of light, okay, or glint of light, should I say. If you feel like you don't have that kind of control, that's fine. You can just use the white oil pastel on top. That's the nice thing about oil pastels, is you can keep working on top and on top and on top. So you can add a little bit of white in there as well, just for that reflection. So don't worry too much about that. So we're just going to bring in a little bit of black line just above the eye to show that there's kind of a fold in the skin of the fish. And then I'm going to bring a black line in, I don't know if you can see that there, but it's just slightly inwards, again, to show that there's kind of a little bit of a bump for, I suppose, what would be the fish's nose. And they only have to be slight lines here. I'm going to put one in for the mouth as well. A little bit underneath it as well, a little bit of shadow. And maybe a bit of a whisker coming out there. And then where the gills are, again, just very, very lightly going to outline where they are. It doesn't have to go the whole way. It can just be a little bit on the top of it. So I'm kind of using the black to highlight, really. I'm going to bring out this fin a little bit as well, because it needs to, I think. And again, they're not, you can see that I'm kind of staggering the lines, so it's not, hold that a bit closer, so it's not one solid line. I'm kind of staggering it a little bit so it still maintains that very ethereal kind of floaty feeling to it, that floaty vibe to it. Let's bring that in there as well. And then I'm going to do that nice, beautiful one there. I'm just going to outline that slightly and just put a couple of lines in it. And then outline the bottom of the body there. I'm not going to put much in these two because they're quite, I just put a little bit here just to show that it's in shadow a little bit. But these are kind of our lightest ones, so I don't really want to put too much in there. And maybe a little bit of shadow in there as well. Go overboard. Right, I'm going to stop there. So before I smudge it, let's show you guys exactly where I've outlined so that you can see a little bit clearer. Oh, there we go. So hopefully you guys can see there that it's just literally just outlining some of it. So down here is kind of, if you imagine that's our darkest bit and all the light's coming from this direction. This is all our darkest bit. So it's all this side of things that you're going to outline in black. Okay, hopefully you guys have got that. So fresh bit of tissue, clean side of it. And then we are just going to just very, very lightly, I'm not even going to touch the eyeball. But I'm going to very, very lightly just smudge in that black outline. So don't go overboard with it. Just very, very lightly in the direction of the lines. Bring it in. I'm going to go a bit harder with the ones that are actually in the middle of the of our fins. And the bits that are the shadow, I'm going to go a little bit harder with them because I think that needs blending a little bit more. There we go. There we go. I'm happy with that. Very happy with that. Hopefully you guys are getting on okay with this one. Now what I would like to do is I'm just going to use a very, very light pale blue, and I'm literally just going to very lightly shade around our beautiful goldfish. And then I'm just going to use the tissue to very, very gently blend that in a little bit, just so that it's got just some kind of background for it. So again, clean bit of tissue, and I'm going to really, really start rubbing this together so that it blends really nicely. I'm going to go as close to the fish as I can, but I'm not going to go anywhere near the actual oil pastels and the colours, because then you'll start getting, especially with the blue, you'll start getting some weird kind of grain going on, which we don't want. It's just the hint of a background being there. You can see it's starting to go green at the bottom there. I'm going to change to a clean bit of tissue. There we go. It's just the hint of a background, it's not anything spectacular. And then I'm going to go over it just again on the outside where I've got lines going one way. Just going to get it going the opposite direction, just on the outside. And again, just blending that one in. That's better. I'm happier with that now. Okay, so hopefully you guys have kind of seen that, you're happy with it. And you can go kind of as bold as you like with the background, really. It's entirely up to you guys. And then just peel away your masking tape if you've got it. Very, very gently. She says. This is where I end up ripping like half the page, and I really don't mean to. Here we go. 2, 3. Oh, rip that paper a little bit. And then the last one here. There we go. Our beautiful finished goldfish. Hopefully you guys have had fun with that. It's a really nice one to do because you've got the trick of making it look so kind of ethereal and floaty, which is no easy feat with oil pastels. As we know, oil pastels are big, they're bold. You can really kind of go to town on them. So this is a really nice one for blending and for just giving it that light touch, I suppose, as opposed to yesterday when we were doing the cherries, which was like really full on and you were trying to get as much colour as you can in there. This is just a very lightly blended one. Next week, we are either doing watercolour painting or drawing. And so I'd like you to vote, if you would. Just put it in the comments section for me whether you would prefer to do watercolour painting or drawing next week. And then hopefully by tomorrow I can tell you guys what we're going to be doing. And tomorrow you will need your oil pastels and a bit of tissue paper or kitchen towel. But you will also need 2 sheets of paper tomorrow. There is method to my madness, I promise. So you need 2 sheets of paper and a pencil, as well as your oil pastels and tissue paper. All right, so we're gonna have a bit of fun tomorrow with our oil pastels. So I hope you've enjoyed today and you've liked my little goldfish. I think he's rather cute. I quite like him. I think he's lovely. Enjoy. Don't forget to take pictures as well of your goldfish and what you've done today and post them below. I'd love to see them. It'd be absolutely great. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys at 2 p.m. tomorrow with 2 sheets of paper and your oil pastels and a pencil. And we're gonna have fun. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy. See you tomorrow.